The lock of the draft seems to be Myles Garrett going number 1 overall. He's the can't-miss prospect. The Browns should take him. Former colleague Warren Sapp, also Pro Football Hall of Famer, says, not so fast, my friend. A little page out of Lee Corso's book said, quote, I don't see it from this kid. I see splash plays. Everybody gets those. Where's the game he took over? Where? Any defensive lineman who's the number 1 pick, you turn up and you say, there it is. This kid, no, I don't. I'm pretty plain and a frank guy, and I watch the tape and he disappears. I watch the tape and he absolutely disappears. Obviously, some strong words. He compared him to former number 1 defensive lineman pick from Pennsylvania State University, Courtney Brown, and said, I don't think he's as good as Courtney Brown, who flamed out with the Browns after 4 seasons due to injury.
What do you think?
He said, quote, I see a lazy kid that makes 4 plays a game. This is the number 1 guy. Ooh. No. This ain't even close.
Lombo?
You know, I think there's certainly Warren's criticism of him. There's times that he does. He had the bad ankle this year. I think when you watch him play over the length of his career, I mean, and this kid comes in as a freshman, and in the Southeast Conference, he breaks Clowney's freshman sack record. So he's had moments where he has taken over games. There's no question. I think the concern, and I wrote about this, is the concern about the lackluster play. Some people attribute it to the ankle. You know, 20 of his sacks came against non-Southeast Conference opponents. So, you know, I think there is an element that you have to be worried, but the same thing has been said about a lot of guys. I mean, Julius Peppers, people talked about that, said he was more of a basketball player than he was a football player.
Right.
And Peppers dominated in the NFL, he's been in 9 Pro Bowls. So I hear what Warren's saying. I don't not disagree with what Warren's saying. I think as a personnel guy, you have to predict the future in terms of where you think he's going to go. I think some of it was injury related, but this kid's uniquely talented.
Man, he's one of your day 1 starters on defense as part of your column today.
How much does his stock rise because of Von Miller? And people,
how much what?
How much does his publicly the perception of him rise because of Von Miller and the Texas A&M connection?
I think, look, anytime you can get a guy that can control the action on passing downs, which this kid should be able to do, you have to pick him. I think that's where, to me, you know, Cleveland's in this debate, and this isn't just hearsay. This truly happening in their building is they want Trubisky, or do they want Garrett? And for me, I think they should pick Garrett and then use some of their assets that they have. They have a stock pool of draft picks. Last year, all their draft picks, other than everybody from the 5th round on made their team, and only Scooby Wright didn't make their team that they drafted. And they have a bunch of young players on the team, so they have all these picks. They can't make them all. They all can't make the team. So take some of those picks, make a deal with San Francisco. If you want Trubisky that bad, get the 1st and 2nd pick in the draft. That'll lift the franchise up, you know, and give away a couple of the picks. I mean, San Francisco's begging for somebody to trade that pick.
Right. And let me just quickly hit the phone lines. Our friend Don from Cleveland, Ohio is here on the show. Don, meet Lombo.
Hi.
Don called
Hi.
last week and said that the Browns have forfeited their right to draft a quarterback in the 1st round. Right, Don?
Yes, that is correct. But I do listen to wise counsel from you, and Mike Lombardo is also very, very sage wisdom I get from him. So do you really think we can draft another quarterback in the 1st round and get away with it? We've had such bad luck.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
I think they have to draft a quarterback. I think, look, the luck
in the 1st round, though? 1 or 12? I mean, really?
I think if they could trade up from 12, I think they have to. I think they need somebody to build this franchise around. They need an identity. They passed on it last year with Carson Wentz. Whether they're right or not, I don't know the answer to that question yet. I think if they would have picked Goff, I would have said they're wrong because I'm not as high on Goff. I think Wentz has got some accuracy issues after 10 yards, but there's really a lot of potential with Wentz. For me, this team needs to have a centerpiece, and they need somebody to build a team around. And they can't worry about the past mistakes, whether it's Manziel or whether it's Tim Couch or all those guys that they picked.
Right.
They got to build this team around it.
What about offering the proverbial offer that cannot be refused? Calling up Belichick, offer him the band leader, the girl, cartoon, the bed.
Bring Luca Brasi.
Bring him up, just all of it. All of it.
Bring
The
Luca
whole
Brasi.
every Godfather reference I can throw at Belichick and say, what about Garoppolo?
I just don't think it's going to. I think
you don't think that's going to heat up in the next 2 days,
No.
3 days at all?
I mean, Adam Schefter tweeted yesterday it's not going to happen. I've been saying all offseason it's not going to happen. Look, I think they really like this guy. They really know what they have.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.